Alright, here's part 2 of the opposites attract tutorial. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, you need to watch that first or you're not going to have any idea what's going on here. So I'm going to do that real quick and then come back and watch this. Now, at this point you've got your ace on the top here with the two queens that are actually mismatched on either side of it. And here's what you need to do. You pick this up and you say, alright, so we have the ace with either queen, excuse me, with a queen on either side of it. And as you close up, what you do is you secure a pinky break below the second card, which is the face-up ace. It's very easy to do in this trick because what you do is you fan over like this, and then the way you're holding the cards is if you were to separate your hands, you'd be holding these two in this hand, the rest of the pack in the other. So from underneath, when you close up, just let your left hand fingers kind of curl up like so to create this gap between the cards. But see, your other hand's going to be over the top, so nobody can see that from the front. And then you kind of just square everything, still keeping that separation, and then let the cards kind of fall down, but you hold a gap in the back with your pinky. It's called a pinky break because your pinky holds a break between two cards at a specific spot in the deck. In this case, under the second card. Now this is what you want your pinky breaks to look like. Once you get them, get comfortable with it, is you want to have from the front. It looks normal. If you know it's there, you might be able to see a little bit of the bow on the card, but you have to already know it's there, or you'll never notice that. If you already know it's there, then they already know it's there, so it doesn't really matter if they see it. But the idea is you want to have them as small as possible with just a little bit of the flesh of your pinky just sort of pinched between the cards there. The smaller it is, the less likely it is to be noticed. That's what you should be going for. When you start out, if you're not ever used pinky breaks before, when you fan over like this, when you close up, if you want, you could just stick the whole end of your finger into the cards there, because when this hand is over the top like so, it's covering everything. There's nothing for anybody to see. So, and then from here you're going to do one of two things. If you've got a nice small pinky break where you're just using a little flesh of your pinky, you could take your hand off, gesture just a little bit, say something, and then grip the pack in your right hand and remove your left hand. And when you grip it with your right hand, you're taking over that break with your thumb. So you're still holding the break, but now your thumb is what's holding it, and your left hand is free. If you just want to slide your whole pinky in, then don't ever take this hand off there while your left hand is still there, otherwise people will see it. But just close up like this, take your left hand off, and your thumb is holding the break. From this point, we're going to use the double undercut card control. Card control is any method, and there's dozens of them, to control the location of a card or multiple cards that are in the same location with the deck. In this case, what we're doing is we're going to control these two cards to the bottom of the deck with the double undercut. And the way it works is you've got your break that your thumb's holding, and here's all you do. You just cut about half the deck off the bottom, slide it onto the top, and then take everything below the break and put it on the top. So when you're done, your face-up ace is on the bottom with that queen there, and then your other queen is on the top of the deck. But at speed, you're going to establish your break, and then you do the double undercut. It all looks very casual once you get comfortable with the moves. But I've actually cut the deck to a specific location. The reason you do two cuts is because then it seems more random. If you were to just do one, it's kind of obvious what just happened, especially when you're just moving two cards. But if you do two, it seems more like you just randomly were cutting the cards. At this point, all of the work for the trick is done. All you have to do is put one packet on top of the other. It doesn't matter which one goes where. You can give the spectator the choice on that one, which one they want moved over, which one they want on top. I would not let the spectator handle the cards because they might fumble them or something. Spectators tend to be clumsy, it's just the way it is. If they drop them or something, they might reveal that face-up ace is on the bottom. That could kind of give the trick away a little bit. Then you do need to give the deck one more cut because you still have this face-up ace on the bottom here to complete everything. Now everything is set up for the reveal, and you're done. At this point you can ribbon spread if you want, as I did, or if you're not good at the ribbon spread, you can just fan through like that, that's fine. Or you could even hand the deck to the spectator and let them fan through. Also, but once you're all set up, before you do the reveal, if you want, you can give the option of the spectator to cut the cards. You know, ask them how many times they would like you to cut the cards. And you can, as long as you do simple cuts like this, you're in no danger of messing anything up. This is the only thing that could happen is, if you do too many, every once in a while you will cut right at one of the aces. If that happens, just say, oh, well, we'll just cut that back into the center and move on. It does detract a little bit from the trick, I think, but it's not that big a deal if it does happen, and it doesn't happen that often, especially if you don't cut the cards too many times. But that's all you have to do for the trick, and then you can reveal, however you like, that the queens have switched places on either side of the aces. One last thing I want to tell you here about the double undercut is that is one of the classic utility moves. It can be used in any number of situations. The usual method for it, the most common use for it I should say, would be like have a spectator choose a card. You say, return that to the deck for me. And you say, okay, we'll just lose that in the middle of the deck. Tell you what, we'll cut that a couple times just to make sure that's good and lost. And what it is, I just cut it right back to the top. Like so. Oops. When I put these on here, I catch a break, and then I do a double undercut. And their card is right back on the top. So if you need to control a card to the top of the deck for a trick, that's the terminology for it. Control a card at the top. That's one way you can do it. This is the first card control most people learn. It's the simplest, but it's really still quite effective. Even professionals will use this on occasion.